Guys, welcome. We are reviewing the brand new fan from Lian Li. The brand new UniFan SL120 version 2. Let's get to it. We're reviewing the UniFan SL120 version 2. So a big fan of Lian Li products, big fan of their fans actually, with the daisy chainable fans that they came out with the first version of the SL120s. We could not get enough of these. So they kind of revamped them. As you guys know, throughout the past year and a half, they have actually started with the SL120s, then came out with the AL120s, and then recently, just came out with a good mix of both of these called the SL Infinity 120s, which are my all-time favorite. So we're actually gonna unbox the SL120 3-pack. So right off the bat, we have the cable connectors, which we are expected. Looking a little bit different. This time around, they went all white, which, oh, thank you so much, Lian Li. The main thing I really wanna see is this controller. And the reason why is they've revamped this a couple times. They're incorporating L-Connect 3, which we, have been using with the new SL Infinity fans. So this is going to be very interesting. Let's get this open. So this is a UniFan SL version 2. It's proprietary for these fans. So that was the big question that a lot of people were asking us when the new SL Infinity fans came out. Is the controller gonna be proprietary? Is it gonna be different? Can we mix and match? You can't. It is very crucial, and some of the plugs won't work, that you actually, it says it right on there what this hub is for. So comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 connectors. They always give you a little bit more just in case one of them's bad or whatever it may be, which is super nice to have on handy. So you're gonna have your controller, which will plug in. You have a Sync 2, Sync 4 button. You have USB, and then obviously you have a fan connector with 5-pin RGB. So the standard Lian Li controller, the only thing that's gonna change here, guys, is actually gonna be the units plugging in this way. So now, before we hop into the comparisons of all the fans together, I really just wanna highlight one of the main cool features of the new fans. New feature of the SL120 version 2s is the ability to daisy chain up to 6 fans and only use 1 fan port. First comparison, we are comparing the version 2s of the SL from Lian Li versus the version 1s, and I can already tell the thickness of the fans is definitely noticeable when you have them in hand. Before even really picking this up again, when I actually took one out of the box just to kind of look at it because I was super excited, I can tell the thickness of the fan definitely was the first notice for me. Aside from that, as you guys can tell, white versus gray. I think this is a big customer feedback from Lian Li. Instead of using the gray feet, they went with their all white feet because if you have a white fan, you want it to be an all white build. So as we flip it around, something else noticeable is they actually added a titanium middle section instead of actually just a black sticker. So Lian Li started actually shipping the fans with like little black stickers that had their logo, which was super cool, but nobody really wants to see, like, you know, the voltage and stuff. We just know it's a fan. So really just looking at the fan, you can say that the fan's a little bit smaller. I don't know if you can tell, but the thicker edges kind of take up that. And why they did that is they actually made this LED right here kind of unified. So they wanted it to be kind of infinity. So when you actually daisy chain them together, it actually all coincides with one another. So something that they pay attention to small details, which is something that we at Viral do as well. All right, next up is a comparison of the AL120s. Obviously, there's gonna be a big difference because we are comparing AL, which the AL, mind you, have the actual RGB inside the fan. So when you put them up next to next, man, hate to say it, but this SL is still thicker than the AL120s. Obviously, side profiles, they're gonna be a little bit different too. The SLs kind of have the thinner bezel on the sides just for the fact that the RGB is a little bit thicker and brighter, where this just has a little thin line of RGB. So comparing the back sides, obviously the AL versus the SL version 2, you're gonna notice they're kind of learning the tricks of the trade. So as they kind of innovate and Lian Li listens for customer feedback, they kind of change the fan. So once again, going with the similarities of the stainless steel bezel in the middle, which I really like. The white feet, which is still continuing from this. So this is their second iteration of their RGB fan, which released mid last year of 2021. So, and last but not least is the SL version 2 120 versus the SL Infinity that just released about 3-4 months ago. So thickness is on par, really. Honestly, this is going to be, obviously you know about this fan, this is a mesh or a mix between the SL and the AL that they came out with infinity mirrors on the side as well as centers. So obviously the back of the fan, comparing the backs of the fans, these are going to be very similar to one another. Obviously RGB in the top in the SL Infinity versus no RGB in the bottom. So if you're really chasing that all RGB look, I would still highly recommend going with the SL Infinity because it's a good mix. But if you like simplicity, the minimal RGB, this takes the cake. So side profiles, obviously it's gonna be a little bit different because we have the Infinity mirror, but that's it.